Good morning, fellow historians. We are back with another documenting history episode. If you're new here, our mission is to record history for future generations to enjoy. I do know this is not the most exciting video, the most entertaining video, but I do feel it's important to document our local history here in the New York metropolitan area. I do know that the internet records history, but most of that history is the big national news. A lot of your local stories with your local flavor will be lost basically to history unless someone records a snippet like this. 1010 wins in the New York metropolitan area. So fellow historians, we have 19 of you so far. So I thank you for the support. I never realized that I would even get to 19 historians, because I do understand that at the present time, these videos may not seem very important, but 30, 40 years from now, people can look back at any given day and hear what was going on that day in history. Especially if someone that's born today, 20 years from now, they're curious, they see a date with their birthday on it, the day they were born, and they can hear what was going on at that particular day, at least in the New York metropolitan area, right? But still, it's interesting. So anyway, I'm on my way to work. We're closing in on 20 historians, so thank you for that. So let's get right into it. There's probably a commercial right now because we're about ready to listen to the 7 o'clock headlines. Yep, we got a commercial right now. So once again, wanted to thank you so much for your support. Thank you, new subscribers that have just joined up to become a historian. I appreciate the support as we get ready to drive into Garfield, New Jersey from Route 46. And to give you a little bit of time, instead of going on River Road, I'm going to stay on Route 46 for a while. Some of you local folks will know this area. Many, the ones that are watching that are not from this area, this is Route 46. This actually brings you to the George Washington Bridge to New York. All right, here we go.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good morning, 74 degrees and lightly raining now at 7 o'clock on this Thursday, August 29th. I'm Susan Richard. Here's what's happening. A New Yorker among the 6 additional deaths now reported in the latest update from the CDC on the listeria outbreak tied to deli meat. As cops release the photos of 5 teenage girls wanted for beating a 76-year-old man at the Rockaway Avenue subway stop in Brooklyn, we have word of another assault in the subway in Washington Heights. 2 men hurt in a boat fire at the Raritan Marina, including one who actually went back to the scene in his hospital gown. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz give that big interview tonight on CNN, while J.D. Vance has this message for the Democratic presidential nominee.
She can go to hell.
We'll tell you why he said that. And it took a village to rescue one very lucky kitten on Staten Island. In sports, Yanks drop another game to the Nationals in Washington 5-2. The Mets suffering a brutal loss 8-5 to the Diamondbacks in Arizona. AccuWeather today, mostly cloudy, breezy, cooler, chance for a stray shower and a high of 76. Winds News Time 7:01, traffic and transit with Sue Aller.
All right, well, I couldn't figure out why it was taking so long for the delays on the inbound side of the Gowanus Expressway to clear out. We had that accident at 7th Avenue, 65th Street. That has been cleared. But just before that, inbound Gowanus at Fort Hamilton Parkway, a broken down tractor trailer, and you got the center lane blocked. So the delays, they stretch all the way back into Staten Island from 440 all the way to the Brooklyn-bound Verrazano Bridge, where you also have some lower level construction, and it's going to stay real slow all the way to the inbound Gowanus at Fort Hamilton Parkway. Now, here's what you need to know about the rest of the bridges and tunnels. You've got about 20 minutes from 8095 at the inbound George Washington Bridge. The other approaches are better. A solid 15 now at the inbound side of the Lincoln Tunnel, and about 20 to 25 at the inbound Holland Tunnel. Plus, just getting word right now that rail service in and out of Penn Station, New York is subject to 20 minutes on New Jersey Transit because of an Amtrak signal issue in one of the Hudson Rivers. The good news about New Jersey Transit, it's free today. It's a fair holiday. Odyssey Lottery Recap presented by Jack Pocket. Powerball is now $69 million and Mega Millions is now $627 million. Order official state lottery games on your phone. Must be 18 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. I'm Sue Aller. Next report at 7:11. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
We have an update from the CDC on the listeria outbreak linked to deli meat, with a New Yorker now among those succumbing to the disease.
6 more deaths nationwide linked to listeria and the Boar's Head deli meats. And one of those who lost their lives, a New Yorker, although it's not being disclosed who the person is or what part of the state they're from. But we know this, there are now 17 confirmed cases in New York State, the most of any state in the U.S. Dr. Nidhi Kumar is a cardiologist with St. Peter's University, a medical expert speaking with CBS New York.
It is incredibly sturdy, so it can withstand high temperatures like being in a freezer or even a regular refrigerator. And it has a biofilm, so it sticks to surfaces, it sticks to hands, and it can easily contaminate areas and surfaces.
Now, in recent months, the CDC had reported 3 deaths in connection with listeria. Again, the outbreak nationwide, 9 confirmed fatalities now. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, 92.3 FM in Lower Manhattan.
There's been another attack in the subway. It happened just after 11 last night when a 39-year-old man was on a 1 train at 191st Street in Washington Heights. Some other guy came out of nowhere, slashed him in the chest and arm. The victim is stable. The perp got away and is yet to be caught. Separately, a $3,500 reward's now being offered. That's as cops look for the group of teenage girls who randomly attacked a 76-year-old man on a subway platform in Brooklyn. This was at the Rockaway Avenue stop at around 2 in the morning on Monday. 5 girls punching and kicking the guy in the head on the northbound C line. The man was taken to the hospital in stable condition. We're going to have the photos of the girls up at 1010wins.com. 2 people injured in a boat explosion at the Raritan Marina in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Witness Andy Jesnovich spoke to NBC4.
After about 30 seconds after the explosion, all I saw was a huge cloud of dust. No smoke, no flames.
1 man was launched into the water and was pulled out by bystanders. He was treated for burns to his face and legs. A 2nd man, Michael Sorger, suffered injuries from flying glass. He actually went back to the scene later in his hospital gown and talked to CBS 2.
We just put 75 gallons into the boat. I was anchoring it, and when he went to start it,
Yeah, they were gassing up at the time. No word, though, on the cause of the blast, but officials say it does not appear to be suspicious. The marina, meantime, remains closed while they investigate. Cops with another hit and run to investigate. This time in Ozone Park, a 55-year-old woman was crossing the street just after 3 this morning at Cross Bay Boulevard and Pitkin Avenue. She was struck by an SUV that kept on going. The woman is now critical. 74 degrees, lightly raining in the city. The humidity is 73%. The wind's north at 4 miles an hour. AccuWeather says mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Less humid today, but still a stray shower. And temperatures falling this morning and then later getting back up around 76 degrees. It is 74 in Central Park. On the presidential campaign trail, the highly anticipated CNN interview with both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz airs tonight at 9. Both Democrats are on a joint bus tour of Georgia with a stop today in Savannah.
This is a moment for the campaign to connect with those rural communities. Having a presidential nominee, I've been told that this is one of the first time in more than a decade that we've had a presidential candidate campaign in Savannah. So this is a way to connect with those communities that are outside of those major cities.
That's WTOC TV reporter Simone McKenney. In addition to the Georgia event, Tim Walz will also travel to North Carolina today for a reception. Donald Trump to hold events in both Potterville, Michigan and La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Donald Trump is trying to break down the blue wall. And this is something that his campaign has really made a focus on in their selection of someone like J.D. Vance as Donald Trump's running mate, someone who can take a message not explicitly to all of the country, but to those parts of the country in which they feel like the American people, as specifically voters who are inclined to vote Republican this cycle, are feeling forgotten.
That's correspondent Jake Rosen. J.D. Vance making headlines this morning after lashing out at Kamala Harris after her campaign took aim at Donald Trump over the incident at Arlington National Cemetery.
She can go to hell.
That was following a rally in Wisconsin where he also chastised reporters.
You guys in the media, you're acting like Donald Trump filmed a TV commercial at a gravesite. He was there providing emotional support to a lot of brave Americans who lost loved ones.
Trump was at Arlington for a wreath-laying ceremony marking 3 years since 13 U.S. service members were killed in a suicide bombing in Afghanistan. That's when some Trump campaign staffers got into it with cemetery officials who tried to stop the team from filming and photographing in an off-limits area where recent U.S. casualties are buried. In a statement on X, the Trump campaign claimed the former president was allowed to have a photographer there, but a Defense Department official tells the Associated Press the opposite, that the campaign had been warned about not taking photographs. We're learning more about the young man who tried to kill Donald Trump at a rally in Butler, PA, specifically about his mindset.
Authorities say that while the motive remains unknown, Crooks was apparently obsessed with violence for years, researching how to build bombs back as early as 2019. They say he was engaged in a sustained, detailed effort to plan an attack on some event. According to FBI officials, Crooks conducted more than 60 searches related to former President Trump and President Biden, even looking up, quote, when is the DNC convention and when is the RNC in 2024.
That's correspondent Pierre Thomas. The autopsy, meantime, showed that Thomas Crooks had no alcohol or illegal drugs in his system when he was fatally shot by a sniper. What's been called the granddaddy of New York City sidewalk sheds has finally come down.
Quick question. Where were you 15 years ago? And no, I'm not trying to age you. Well, employees at the Chief Medical Examiner's office can probably tell you they were under a newly built shed that served as an umbrella or coverage from the sun. Only they didn't expect for it to remain there for a decade and a half.
No sidewalk shed on the streets of New York City should be allowed to be up for 15 years.
That's the Department of Buildings Commissioner Jim Otto telling 1010 Wins that Mayor Adams' Get Sheds Down initiative is finally underway.
A shed that's up solely because it's cheaper to keep a shed up than do the underlying work to fix the building, that's what the mayor wants us to target.
I gave you time to think about it. 15 years ago was 2009, by the way. Just saying. Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Documenting History. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video.